My friend, why do those foolish words and actions from others still stir up irritation in you? You remind yourself it's not worth it. Yet your chest tightens, your jaw clenches, and there it is. Anger rises again. This isn't about massive betrayals. It's the minor irritants, a dismissive tone, an apathetic shrug, a thoughtless remark that disrupts your inner calm. You don't want this argument. But now the peace is gone, taken away by someone who probably doesn't even realize what they've done. Let's be clear. Their ignorance isn't your responsibility. But when you react, they control you. Not because they're strong, but because you give them the power. That has to end right now. You've come here because you want to stop getting angry over things that don't matter. You seek control not over the world, but over how you respond to it. That's true strength. That's clarity of mind. That's freedom. The ancient philosophers believed no one can hurt you unless you allow it. Today, we'll bring that wisdom into your modern life. You will learn how to keep your mind calm, no matter how foolishly the world behaves. You will discover how to respond like a man in command, not one dragged along by every little provocation. You are not alone. Every strong man battles this. If you're tired of being defeated by meaningless things, this is your moment. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to reclaim their peace. Let's begin. 1. Identify the patterns before they control you. You don't explode over a single foolish remark. You explode because it's the 50th foolish thing, and you didn't notice the build-up. That's the trap many men fall into. You think you're reacting to this moment, but really, you're carrying an invisible load from the whole week. The silent frustrations at work, the disrespect at home, the delayed flight, the careless comment. You ignore them time after time until one more foolish thing pushes you to the limit. Boom! You erupt. But the truth is, anger doesn't come out of nowhere. It follows a cycle, and you've ignored the signs. That's why awareness is your first line of defense. Anger isn't random. It's rehearsed. You've practiced it day by day, by letting small things slide without addressing them. And when you finally react, it's not strength, it's overflow. You're not in control. You're leaking. And every time you blow up over something unworthy, you reinforce that vicious cycle. Frustration, silence, pressure, outburst, then guilt. That cycle will continue until you name it, track it, and break it. Imagine your mind like a dam. When you ignore the small leaks, pressure builds beneath. You don't see the cracks, but they're there. Then one day, a light feather touches the wall, and it bursts. Not because of the feather, it's because of the cracks you've never inspected. So how do you stop getting angry over foolish things? Start here. Recognize the triggers before they dominate you. Track your patterns like a strategist. When are you most impatient in traffic? During meetings, mornings with the kids, or that particular tone from your spouse? Note it down. Don't think you'll remember forever. You won't. Self-awareness isn't passive. It's tactical. It's the boundary between the reactor and the leader. But most men get this wrong. They say, "I'm just hot-tempered," as if it's an unchangeable trait. That's an excuse, not your identity. Anger doesn't define you. It's a pattern you allow to repeat. And the Stoics called that slavery, not to others, but to your inner impulses. The man who can't stay silent when provoked is the one being controlled. That's not power. That's weakness hidden in noise. So shift. Instead of trying to control the outside world, start observing your inner responses. Pay attention to the moment your body changes. The tension in your shoulders, the quickened breath, the clenched jaw. Those are your signals. Breathe deeply. Step back. Don't let anger pull you along. You're not a puppet. You're the builder. And every time you interrupt that cycle, even once, you've laid the first brick of emotional control. Want to stop getting angry over stupid things? Don't let stupidity catch you off guard. Be prepared. Recognize it. When it appears, don't fear it. Smile, because now you're in charge. Not your emotions. Not their nonsense. Just you. Steady. Resolute. Untouchable. Track the triggers. Don't lose your power. 2. Understand what you're really angry about. It's not the spilled coffee, not the slow driver, not the colleague's tone. What makes you angry isn't the thing right in front of you. It's what's already inside you. Most men don't realize this because we're programmed to react, not reflect. When you get mad over small things, it's not about that thing. It's about what it represents. Disrespect, loss of control, pent-up pressure, unmet expectations. That's the real battle. The storm beneath the surface. Anger is rarely honest. It comes with the wrong label, blaming whoever's nearby. But deep down, it's often shame, dressed as rage, or fear disguised as frustration. You're not yelling at the broken remote. You're yelling because the day is spiraling out of control. Your patience is depleted, and life seems to slip from your grasp. You're not snapping at your wife because she forgot the groceries. You're snapping because work is crushing you, and no one sees the weight you're carrying. That's what the Stoic philosophers understood profoundly. Emotions aren't the enemy, but they'll lie to you if you don't dare to look them in the eye. Pause. Ask yourself, what am I really angry about right now? Is it just this moment, or the piled-up burdens from before? Many confuse anger with strength, thinking a louder voice means power. But it's not. True power is naming the truth behind the noise. That's when you realize what you call stupidity in others is really your own disappointment in yourself. The Stoics believed if you don't master your emotions, they'll master you. And they won't even be honest with you. You'll go through life yelling at the world, thinking you're tough, but really just triggered. Imagine it like pressure in a boiler building up. If you don't release it, one small touch is enough to make it explode. That's exactly what's happening in your daily life. You hold everything in: the disrespect from your boss, the feeling of failure as a provider, the pressure to always be the strong one. Then one small thing sets you off. You erupt and then feel foolish afterward. But it's not foolish. It's predictable because you never addressed the root beneath the surface. Don't blame the spark. Fix the fuel source. That means journaling the things that truly bother you, not the ones you pretend to care about. Check your stress levels. Don't mask them with sarcasm or anger. And that means choosing clarity over impulsive reactions. You're not weak for feeling overwhelmed. You're only weak if you let that emotion dictate actions without question. Become the man who probes his own mind, not the one swinging blindly. Next time you feel the fire rising in your chest, don't extinguish it. Follow it. Discover what it really wants to say. Because when you name the true source, you regain control. Then, anger stops being a prison and becomes a message. Don't just feel it. Decode it. Then move forward your way. 3. Don't take things so personally. 80% of the things that hurt you aren't actually aimed at you. The email from your boss. He's struggling with his deadline. Your wife is silent. She's dealing with something deeper. The driver who cuts you off. He doesn't even notice you. Most of the hurts you feel are just echoes from your own expectations. When you make everything about you, you lose your peace easily. That's not strength. That's emotional slavery. Anger arises when you tie your self-worth to every word, every tone, every glance, like carrying open wounds and blaming the world for accidentally brushing against you. But the man who masters himself doesn't need every gesture to be gentle. He doesn't crumble just because someone skips a good morning. He doesn't rage just because someone speaks louder than usual. He knows who he is, and that's enough. The Stoics called this power apatheia, not indifference, but self-mastery, the ability to remain unmoved by things beyond your control. Not coldness, but composure. This is where many men go wrong. They see every minor insult as a personal attack. Their ego is so fragile that even a shadow makes them flinch. A complaint at work, they unravel. A small misunderstanding at home, they explode. But your emotions don't have to be at the mercy of every word others say. Let them speak. Let them act. You're not here to react. You're here to lead yourself first. Imagine a rock in a raging stream. Water crashes against it all day. But the rock doesn't budge. It doesn't take it personally. That's who you become when you stop judging everything through a lens of defense. That's who you become when you realize most people are just projecting their own pain. Not targeting you. It's not about you. It never was. Now, apply this. Next time someone snaps at you, don't snap back. Breathe deeply. Observe. Ask yourself what's really going on here. And does it have anything to do with me most times? It won't. Journal these moments if needed. You'll see a pattern, and once you see it, you'll stop being the victim of invisible battles that aren't yours. Mastery isn't silence. It's knowing when silence is power. It's choosing not to counter every punch thrown your way. When you stop reacting to every poke, you start responding with awareness. That's the shift from being driven by emotion to being guided by clarity. So don't absorb everything. That's how boys live. Men know what to accept and what to reject. Practice this daily. When someone speaks to you disrespectfully, pause. When a stranger is rude, smile. Not because you're weak, but because you're unshakable. Because you know your worth. Don't let the noise rule your mind. Don't let the hurt steal your day. Don't take it personally and start owning how you respond. That's when real strength begins. 4. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 days? Your brain magnifies small issues when you're stressed. The colleague's email left unanswered. The way someone cuts you off in traffic. Your wife's offhand comment at dinner. Suddenly, the small thing isn't small. It's war. Your mind weaves stories, fuels emotions, and before you know it, you're reacting like a fuse lit to the powder keg. But here's the truth. Many strong men overlook. Not everything deserves your energy, and almost nothing deserves your peace. When pressure rises, your nervous system hunts for threats, even where none exist. So, what happens? You treat an annoyance like an insult, a delay as disrespect. You go from calm to irritable over things you might not remember next week. That's the trap. And your mind loves to pull you in, Here's a simple weapon. One question that cuts through the noise. Will this still matter in 5 days, not 5 years? Just 5 days. Because if not, it's not worth spiking your blood pressure. Not worth the silent treatment to your wife. Not worth carrying a bad mood into your next meeting. You're a man, not a puppet jerked by trivialities. Most men waste hours, even days, ruminating on things that change nothing. A missed call, a rude cashier, a sarcastic remark. They let it occupy their mind, steal their focus, make their tone heavy with their kids. All over, nothing in the big picture. You must train your perspective. Just like you train your body. It doesn't happen overnight. But start asking yourself this question: will this matter in 5 days? Every time you feel anger rising in your chest, you'll realize most things don't even pass the 5-minute test. And when something does matter, you'll handle it like a man, calm, steady, in control. This isn't passivity. This is power. You're not ignoring problems. You're choosing what's worth your effort. Because the man who gets angry at everything burns out. The one who lets go walks through storms unscathed. When your mind starts spinning tales, pause and zoom out. Imagine yourself a week from now. Will you even remember this moment? Does it change anything? If the answer is no, walk away. Redirect your attention. Protect your peace. And if it does matter, address it. Not with anger, but with reason. Your energy is currency. Don't spend it on worthless things. Next time anger surges, pause. Breathe. Ask that question: will this matter in 5 days? Make that question your shield, your habit. That's how you stop getting angry over nonsense. That's how you reclaim control. That's how you become the guide. 5. Pause before you react. Anger is often a reflex, not a choice. You don't select it. It just shows up, slams the door, and takes over the room. One moment, you're calm. The next, you're snapping at a colleague, pounding the steering wheel, or giving your wife the silent treatment just because she said the wrong thing at the wrong time. That's not strength. That's surrender. You know it. The issue isn't that you get angry, you're human. The issue is most men don't create space between the trigger and the response. They fire off like a broken machine, letting emotions run the show. You can't be that way. If you want to lead, if you want respect, and to keep your peace, you need space. A small moment when anger flares, but you still don't act. That space is where your power lives. Not to suppress the emotion, but to master it. Then choose how to proceed. That's the mark of a strong man. Not the loudest in the room, the one who holds his ground, the one who doesn't let feelings dictate actions. Imagine your mind like a loaded gun. Every time someone hits a sore spot, your hand goes to the trigger. But you, the disciplined version of you, holds back. Breathe. See the issue for what it is, not through anger's fog. That pause isn't weakness. It's control. And control is rare. Control makes you dangerous in the best way. The average man gets angry, then apologizes, says things he doesn't mean, causes unintended hurt, all because he never learned to pause. So, next time something irritates you, a disrespectful comment, a silly mistake, a delay that upends your plans, pause. Count to 3. Clench your fist if needed. Breathe steadily through your nose. Stay silent. Then respond or don't. Either way, you're the one deciding, not the anger. That pause separates boys from men. Boys react. Men calculate. Boys lose jobs, round dinners, damage relationships over things they could have let go. Men hold steady. The Stoics understood this. They trained themselves not to be numb but unmovable. They believed emotions are data, not commands. You should too. Pausing isn't soft. In fact, it takes more strength to restrain than to explode. Yelling is easy. Holding back when every part of you wants to rage is hard, and that moment builds you. Every time you pause, you sharpen your discipline, build your resilience, reclaim your power. So, learn to pause. Make it your reflex. Next time emotions surge, don't act, don't speak, don't react. Own the moment. Train the reflex to wait. Then, and only then, act with purpose. That's how you stop getting angry over trivial things. That's how you lead yourself. 6. Set boundaries to prevent frustration. You don't get angry because others are unreasonable. You get angry because your boundaries are blurry. When you let people wander in and out of your emotional space unchecked, don't be surprised when someone wrecks it. Think about your time, energy, and attention. How much of it is leaking away just because you haven't been clear about your limits? We often expect others to know what's acceptable, but clarifying that isn't their job, it's ours. Men who don't define their standards end up reacting instead of leading. Boundaries aren't walls to push others away, they're filters to preserve your calm. A man without boundaries is like a warrior without armor, feeling every blow, enduring every wound, eventually falling. You agree to jobs you hate, engage in conversations that drain you, tolerate hurtful behaviors, then wonder why you explode over small things. That anger isn't random. It's the accumulation of every little thing you allowed because you feared being seen as rigid or selfish. But you know, passivity doesn't make you kind. It just makes you more frustrated. No one respects the man who's seething but forcing a smile. The Stoics knew this. They didn't control others, they mastered their own limits. Marcus Aurelius didn't waste time pleasing fools. Epictetus didn't beg for agreement. They knew clearly the boundary between themselves and the outside world. That's power. And power starts when you say, "This is what I accept. This is what I don't." No drama. No arguments. Just discipline. Take a closer example. Your colleague always dumps last-minute tasks on you because you've never said no. Your friend makes sarcastic jabs at dinner, and you laugh it off. Instead of pushing back, a client calls at 10 p.m., and you answer because you fear losing the deal more than losing yourself. That's not strength, it's surrender. Every time you yield, you lose a piece of your soul's peace. Setting boundaries isn't rude, it's authenticity. You teach others how to treat you by what you tolerate. You don't need to argue or yell. Just be firm. I don't take calls after 6. Don't speak to me that way. That's not my responsibility. Short, clear, decisive. Because every boundary you set is a line you draw in the sand. And every line you defend is a step in building emotional discipline. So don't blame others for crossing boundaries you never defined. Don't hope foolish behavior will vanish on its own. Expect yourself to stop tolerating it. Frustration fades when clarity arrives. If something keeps angering you, don't just vent. Limit it. Resentment is a signal. Use it. Track it. Then build your rules. Your peace is forged from your standards. Peace isn't others' responsibility. It's the boundaries you set. So, draw your lines and don't waver. 7. Use humor as a pressure release valve. When you can laugh at stupidity, you've won. Not because the situation changed, but because you have. Anger cools when laughter rises. You're not avoiding the issue, you're disarming it. Most men live like ticking time bombs. One stupid comment, one absurd email, one inconsiderate driver can set them off any time. But humor isn't weakness. It's a sharp tool for emotional control. Be clear, you're not laughing because it's okay. You laugh because you've decided your peace matters more than that nonsense. That's real strength. The Stoics understood this. They didn't waste time fixing a chaotic world. They just refused to be clowns in it. The modern man, especially carrying the weight of work, family, and expectations, can't afford to let his mind unravel over unworthy things. And nothing diffuses tension like a well-timed chuckle or a subtle headshake. Remember the last time someone said something so ridiculous, it made your blood boil. Now imagine replaying it. But this time, you're the audience. The whole thing becomes a comedy sketch. That's the mindset shift. When you move from participant to observer, from offended to amused, you gain the upper hand. You don't waste cortisol. You don't take the bait. You stay clear, focused, and sharp. There's a reason successful people use humor under pressure. Firefighters, soldiers, doctors, those who can't freeze or crumble. They use humor not to escape, but to dissolve stress. Clarify the mind. Stay human when everything turns chaotic. You don't need big loud jokes. The best humor is internal. A slight smirk. A quiet, "Are you kidding me?" A mental eye roll. That's not apathy. It's mastery. Don't confuse this with sarcasm or veiled jabs. That's emotion leaking under a witty disguise. No. This is strategic detachment. A mental posture shift. You're not triggered. You're trained. You don't give energy to stupidity. You nod. Breathe deep. Maybe smirk. Then move on. That's how warriors operate. They don't fume over every pebble on the path. They step over and keep going. In a world quick to anger, restraint becomes rare. But humor will be your edge. It reminds you not every battle is yours. Not every fool needs a response. Sometimes, the strongest move is to laugh, shake your head, and continue your mission. That's mastery. That's emotional strength. Next time the world throws a "you've got to be kidding" moment at you, don't explode. Smile. You're not here to entertain their chaos. You're here to master your own calm. Respond like the man you aspire to be. How you react can build or destroy the person you're becoming. When someone says something stupid, acts out of ego or ignorance, you have a choice. Fan the flames or forge control. Most men don't realize how easily they give away power, not to kings, but to clowns. You let a fool at work, a bad driver, a chatterbox at dinner, pull your emotional strings like a puppet. That's not strength. That's submission disguised as outrage. We're tricked into thinking real men react fast, heat back hard, never back down. But the truth is, the strongest man in the room doesn't react hastily. He chooses his response. He doesn't lose it just because others did first. That's the Stoic shift. Stop letting the outside world dictate your inner state. You don't build muscles once and expect strength forever. Emotional restraint is the same. It's practice, habit, choice. And every time you bite, every time you snap or explode, you're practicing weakness. Now reverse it. Imagine every provocation you pose. You own the silence. You look at the foolishness, not with fury, but with distance. That's not indifference. That's dominance. Like stepping out of the storm while everyone else gets drenched. You start becoming the untriggered man, the one who doesn't explain himself, who stays steady as the world spins in drama. This isn't passivity, it's strategy. Anger might be justified, but blind rage is just noise. You either build your character or burn it with each reaction. Instead of exploding, compress it. Hold your ground. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Does it align with who I want to be? That inner voice grows louder every time you respond with purpose over emotion. In the real world, this shows in meetings, traffic, relationships. You either escalate tension or anchor yourself. You either match stupidity or rise above it. Imagine a father walking into a chaotic home. Kids screaming, spouse stressed, phone ringing you, old you angry, noisy, reactive. You new, you steady, calm, resolute. Because now you don't react from ego, you lead from character. You're not just managing the moment, you're embodying mastery. The most powerful version of you is the quiet one, focused, not swayed by emotions. And it all starts with one choice. Respond like the man you want to be remembered as, not the one who crumbles under pressure. So next time a trivial thing pokes you, don't blink, don't feed it, hold the frame. Think of the man you're forging to become, then act as if he's already in the room. Every time you feel anger rising is life testing your discipline, not to punish, but to sharpen you. The truth is, you won't stop anger overnight, but you can train your response like you train muscles. You can choose stillness over sparks, clarity over chaos. The man who finds peace isn't the one who avoids stress, but the one who faces it with control. Remember, how you respond shapes who you become. You're not just managing emotions, you're building character. Mastering emotions isn't weakness, it's true strength. And it's forged from small, consistent actions, daily awareness, clear will, thoughtful responses. Use what we've discussed today as your training ground. Track what triggers you each day. Breathe before speaking. Ask if your upcoming reaction fits the identity you want to live. That's the path. That's real power. And if this message resonates with you, carry it through the week. Practice. Refine. Own it. If you've had moments where anger took over or where you chose calm instead, share your story in the comments. Your growth could be the spark someone else needs.